Hello everyone and welcome back to me suffering for your entertainment. On today's special menu, we have an outcasted YouTuber with a side of why did you make a short film? No one asked you to make a short film. If you're not aware, in 2015, Shane Dawson released a book, or rather a collection of essays, highlighting once again the struggle that every influencer seems to have. Why can't we write things longer than 5 pages? And with that being said, essays are quite frankly the last thing any of us want to read. I'd honestly prefer poetry. Now, if you're a subscriber of the James Marriott channel, you'd probably be expecting this video to be about the book. But as it stands, I struggle to read anything that's longer than a page, and reading 2 YouTuber books in 1 month would probably leave me riddled with cataracts. So I've instead decided to turn to the short films that were posted alongside the book. Also, if you're not a subscriber of the James Marriott channel, then why not start now? The year has just begun, and if you do it in the next 5 seconds, I won't try to stab you. Now, Shane Dawson supposedly released multiple short films on his channel to promote his book in 2015, but I could only find one. I did, however, find a toaster quality re-upload of another one of the short films, and why it was deleted becomes very apparent very quickly.
You look beautiful.
I feel kind of stupid, actually.
What? Why? You look like a child prostitute.
Not gonna lie, I don't think it's a brilliant idea calling someone beautiful 5 seconds after you've called them a child prostitute in an autobiographical feature. But clearly no one cared about this 5 years ago, so why should they care about it now? Oh wait, I remember. So with that being said, today we're going to be talking about I Hate Myselfie 2, the sequel that, again, no one asked for. But before we get into that, I just want to say that the sequel to my music career is officially out now. A couple of days ago, I dropped the music video for my single Hymn over on my music channel. I really would appreciate it if you checked out after you watch this video. The song has been months in the making. It's a huge passion project of mine, and I really would appreciate any support that you give it. You can also stream it over on Spotify or Apple Music. If you're feeling really cheeky, you could pick it up on iTunes. There'll be a link in the pinned comment which will direct you to any of the aforementioned platforms. And because you've heard me out, here's a quick teaser.
Have you ever been with a guy like that? Out of everyone you could have had, why'd it have to be? Why'd it have to be? Why'd it have to be him?
But with that shameless piece of self-promo behind us, let's get on to Shane's writing, producing, and acting career, something which felt like it lasted even less time than my 3-minute song. Now, like my video on Liza Koshy's show, I brought along my dear friend Cynic Snacks for the ride. I believe he's filing a restraining order against me. The short film covers one of Shane's many essays, this one in particular detailing a high school musical that he took part in as a ratty little teenager. And when I say ratty, Shane definitely gives off Biggie Cheese vibes, given that they put him in a fat suit for the entire film. Shane signs up for a musical with his bimbo best friend who only hangs out with him because he makes her look good.
Because you're fat and you're ugly and you make me look hotter by comparison.
Something that would never happen in real life. Shane's love interest, Patty, is the star of the musical auditions, shocking people with an average voice and a piano. Ooh, it's an instrument. They rehearse for about 1 minute of screen time, which ironically is more than anyone rehearsed for the short film itself, and then they perform. Patty feels self-conscious about her weight before the show until Sumo Suit Shane turns up and gives her a pep talk which lasts 2.5 minutes, 1/6 of the entire film. And then she performs the same song she did earlier, except this time it has a bit of auto-tune, and everyone loves it. And then the ending. Oh, the ending. All in good time, my dear viewers. Let's start with the beginning. It's probably the most jarring introduction of any film I've ever seen, as the audience is reminded of what Shane Dawson used to look like.
Hey, here's a riddle for you. How do you get a crowd of 500 people to blow their fucking brains out simultaneously? Put on a High School Musical.
Did you not find that intro really jarring?
It's just the cold, dead look in Shane's eyes.
He seems to have evolved from this version of Shane. So whenever I look back on this version of Shane, he seems evil. The fat suit is the gag throughout the entire film. In fact, you could argue that it isn't really a High School Musical parody whatsoever, but rather a series of fat jokes that, like any flight from Malaysia Airlines, never really land right. We have at least 20 fat jokes in the first scene.
I've had a thing for her forever.
Aw, you should go ask her out. You have literally nothing to lose. Except like a shit ton of weight.
Wait.
Obviously.
Did you get
Is
it?
this supposed to be?
Get it,
Is this
Cynic?
supposed to be funny?
I think so. So much emphasis is put on Shane's weight in the film that even in the moments when it's not the focus of the dialogue, you start picking up on things that directly feed back into that theme. Did he just hold his own tits? I think he did. Ooh.
Is that Shane's only reaction is to just clutch his titties?
It's very hard to view this film outside of the lens of obesity, but still, it's so far removed from how people actually approach this issue. No one is nice to fat people in the film, and that's simply not the case in the real world. Look, I got 1.8 million subscribers. Even the other overweight characters seem to get off on their chubby counterparts being insulted.
Sorry, he's in some kind of diabetic shock all day, I swear.
She's smiling! This is the same girl that has an emotional breakdown at the end of the film over her own body confidence. And she's looking directly into Shane's eyes and giggling at the fact that someone's bullying him over his weight. Am I meant to like this woman? Yeah, okay, your singing voice is a 6 out of 10. You could probably perform Slow Down a little bit better than me, but you're a bitch. Now, of course, the excuse here is that Shane's friend is joking, but none of the jokes are making anybody laugh. And even when we get to the jokes that aren't about fat people, they're arguably even less funny. There is definitely potential in the high school musical scenario, okay? For example, the flamboyant drama teacher is something that has been used a lot over the years, but any attempt here to add nuance to that character is completely lost with superficial and almost slapstick shock humor.
Go fight, win!
I want to die.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Put a bullet in your head. I want to die.
And then there's these moments where Shane was clearly attempting some callback humor, but callbacks don't really work in a 15-minute short film, especially when you're calling back to something that happened 20 to 30 seconds ago. Before everyone receives their roles, Shane has a little monologue about how he'd be happy with any part as long as it wasn't a piece of shit, and then this guy gets that exact part.
Pile of dog shit? What does that even mean?
Did you get it? It's because the role's a shit role and it's also shit. Funny stuff. Don't get me started on this guy, by the way. He has such a recognizable face, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember where I'd seen him. All I know now is I never want to see his face ever again.
Nobody talks to me here. Is it because of my foreskin?
Here's the thing. Not only is that accurate, that could have been good if the delivery had a bit of work. If the person...
Well, that's the whole point. It was just like, oh, the slam poetry scene worked in 21 Jump Street. Let's just try and do it again.
Just copy it and say something absurd, and then hopefully people will lol XD random at it.
When you click on the I Hate Myselfie 2 video, you'll notice that this guy is actually the top comment. Thank you for letting me be myself, he says, as a black man calls him out for engaging in blackface.
The students who had to perform this terrible ass play, or the parents who had to watch it.
Enjoy the show.
Go fuck yourself.
Well.
Oh. Okay, so no, that wasn't a blackface joke until it was.
Oh, fucking hell. I didn't even clock that.
Not the comment to be making, my guy. So in the first short film, Shane announces to the world that he found someone beautiful when they looked like a child prostitute. And in the second short film, this guy wants the entire world to know that this is him being himself. There's also references to underage sex scandals and school shootings. And perhaps this says more about me and Cynic than anyone else. But our issue wasn't the fact that these themes were raised, but that they weren't developed enough.
Every high school is known for something. Football championships, student-teacher sex scandals, school shootings, and worst of all, the High School Musical.
What's funny? Rape and murder. It's okay though, I'm in a fat suit.
Is that gun going to be continued later on? Because he cocked a gun. Does he just walk around cocking guns and never actually using them?
If someone doesn't get shot in this, Chekhov's gun is a dramatic principle that states that every element in a story must be necessary and irrelevant elements should be removed.
Are you bringing in actual film theory?
Elements should not appear to make false promises by never coming into play. So therefore, if you show a gun at the beginning of a movie, it has to go off by the end. Otherwise, what's the point of the gun being included and seen?
It's definitely not going to be used. Let's just clarify
if no
that
one
right
gets
now.
shot, then I'm disappointed.
I think by the end of it all, I really just didn't know what the purpose of this short film was. Sure, Shane may have been in a position where he needed to sell more books, and this video definitely helped with that, but what's the genre? A comedy, I guess? But then the school shooter, someone who supposedly hates his life, looks happier here than I ever did whilst watching it. Beyond purpose, I don't even comprehend what type of literature this was based off of. When I first looked into the I Hate Myselfie films and essays, I assumed that they were non-fiction, but then why do moments like this exist?
Everybody's gonna laugh at me.
Okay, you're talking to the guy who fell down the bleachers at homecoming last year and killed 3 cheerleaders.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
What? He's a murderer? That would be an absolute scandal. And he's just recovered from that fine and hasn't got a hold on his life. Honestly, you'd think if you were like overweight and struggling and like sad and you fell down some bleachers and crushed 3 people to death under your sheer weight, you would not just still be overweight and miserable after that.
Also, I assumed this was based on his own life. Is that something that he's just been hiding in his 3 big old skeletons in his closet? It makes me question if anything naturally funny ever happened in Shane's life. Why does he feel the need to resort to shock humor which isn't even based in the reality of his story? And may I add, this is one of the few short films made about the book. This is meant to be a highlight. I really struggle to accept the moral of the story as well. I guess the moral is that Patty was too self-conscious to perform in front of anyone wearing that dress, but now that doesn't matter. No one's gonna care, Patty. You've got talent. I just don't empathize with her character whatsoever. But you know what, lads? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into the fact that this psycho smiled when Shane was fat-shamed. But for context, you have this supposed wholesome moment which spends far too long trying to ham-fist a moral into this vapid mess. And in that one split second where you start actually considering the possibility of this story having a pleasant ending, that single exhale of positivity soothing your heart, you begin to smile at the prospect of a feel-good finish. And then you're hit with the grand finale. Who's hungry?
It's funny because he's fat.
That sucked.
That's the punchline.
That sucked so much. How many views has that got? Like 10 million?
Who's hungry?
That sucked.
We end the film with a fat joke. Now, I for one didn't laugh at the first 60 million fat jokes, but this one, this one got me. The outro animation can't come soon enough. Don't bother closing the book, mysterious handless man. Grab a lighter and burn the twat. Overall, this short film comes off as incredibly lazy. Thank God some executive out there didn't make the decision to have this be a feature-length film. Not because it would have been worse for the record, just because it would have wasted a lot more of my time. I completely understand that Shane was probably aware that this wouldn't be his crowning achievement. Realistically, he probably signed a contract saying that he had to have a ghostwriter short film to sell the book that was being ghostwritten for him. Whoever worked on it though spent no time on the script. I've spent more time on shit. When everyone is auditioning, for example, there are moments that even come off as improvised.
Ready? Okay. Go, fight, win. Go, fight, win.
I've thought about this moment so much. Is it improvised? I don't know. If it was in the script, it feels like it was slapped down by some chimpanzee partaking in a speed typing contest. And if it was improvised, who are the yes men that told these girls that this would be a worthy piece of content? It's not as if Shane needed it. It's a short fucking film. It could have been 6 seconds shorter. I could have used that 6 seconds to watch a funny Vine or something. I'm not 31 years old. In short, my time has been wasted. Your time has been wasted. I haven't laughed. I haven't cried. It feels like I haven't felt anything in years. And I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. With that being said, again, check out my music. I just released it. And look forward to the rest of my EP that's dropping on the 15th this month. Leave a like if you have enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or have not done so already, and I will catch you next time.